Welcome everyone to the Mindful Magazine channel. Today I have with me again Nicolas Haines. Thank you so much for coming on the channel again.
Oh, absolutely my pleasure. I loved it so much last time. I was thrilled to be asked again.
I'm really happy that you're coming back. For the ones that are watching and haven't seen the previous video, I will do a small introduction. So Nicolas is he's a kindness ambassador, and he's a founder of the 5 Institute. And he also is an author, an international speaker, and a teacher of Chinese energetics. So that's very impressive. Today, we're going to talk about procrastination, and that is probably something a lot of people have to deal with nowadays. So Nicolas, I would like to know from you, what is procrastination to you, and how can it affect our lives?
Okay. So procrastination is basically not getting the things done that you should do, or doing them at the last minute, or doing them in a way that, because you've left it to the last minute, it hasn't been quite as good as it could be. So it's putting things off or not doing them. Okay, and these are often the important things.
Okay. And what do you think that causes procrastination?
Well, I think probably before we look at what causes it, we could probably look at the kind of varieties of procrastination, because I think this is worth mentioning.
Yeah.
So you have certain people that say, "Oh yeah, I'm a procrastinator. I don't get stuff done, and so what I have to do is I set my alarm clock, or I have an accountability buddy. Oh, I'm a terrible procrastinator." And then you have people at the other end of the spectrum who are really, really tough procrastinators. They literally will spend their whole time avoiding doing things, watching Netflix the whole time on social media, etc., whatever. And so they're at the kind of the real extreme end. And often what you'll find is that those groups of people will actually start to get confused, that they think they're all the same. So it's a bit like someone that is feeling a bit low or unhappy, and they speak to someone that's really depressed. And they say, "Oh, yes, I get really depressed. And when I'm really depressed, what I do is I sit there and I think of all the things I'm grateful for, and I think of all the positive things in my life, or I go out for a walk, or I just give myself a good talking to it, and I kind of get on with it." Now, if someone is really deeply depressed, their ability to feel grateful, or their ability to go for a walk, or their ability, it doesn't exist. Yeah. And it's just like that with procrastination. People that mildly procrastinate, they say, "Oh yes, you just need to have more self-discipline." Now, if someone that's a really bad procrastinator, that actually it's starting to have a big impact on their life, their ability to get a grip or to control themselves doesn't exist. In the same way as someone's depressed, their ability to have happy thoughts doesn't exist. So you have this wide spectrum, but they kind of get muddled up together, just like feeling low or depression kind of gets muddled up together. But there's a real difference between people that are stuck in that pattern.
Wow.
So what we're looking at here is do some work. You can do some work with the mild people, but I think the really interesting work is at the other end of the spectrum, where people are, it's really showing up and having a big impact in their life.
Wow. Because actually we are talking about this subject because you started the Vital program, and the subject of this moment is procrastination. Could you tell me a bit more about the program, and also how did you come to this idea to start this program?
Okay, so we have, as you know from before, we have something called This Vital Life, and it's a monthly membership, and we pick a topic and we have a journey together. We kind of explore it. We call it a quest. And the reason we picked procrastination is because it's reached epidemic proportions. It's out there at such a deep level that it's almost kind of become a joke, or it's almost kind of become normal, because it's so much of it's going on. So if we look at how it shows up, and I have to confess, I am a procrastinator myself. I can confess this. One of the advantages of being a procrastinator is you think about things and you go into things in more depth than if you were really quick. So if say I thought, oh, I'm going to teach on procrastination. If I wasn't a procrastinator, I would go out there, 2 days later, I would have the program and off I would go. But because I am a procrastinator, I have spent probably 8 or 9 years looking at this program, which is bad procrastination, to really work out what's going on at the really deep, heavy end. And I've listened to conversations, I've been in help groups, I have absorbed myself in it. And I think there are kind of three groups in terms of the effect it has on people, which is really worth looking at. I think there are 3 groups. Yeah. The worst group, I think these people have fundamentally have been destroyed or are being destroyed by their procrastination. And they could be being destroyed internally in terms of their internal self. So their self-esteem could be getting lower and lower. So the procrastination is destroying how they think of themselves in a positive way. It's destroying their self-esteem, their self-worth, and it's destroying their ability to actually step into the big dream and the big thing that they once were going to do. So they're kind of pretty destroyed by it. And I've also met people that have lost their houses, lost their marriages. So really kind of, so there's a real extreme end, but there are millions upon millions of people whose self-esteem and self-worth has been destroyed because they've not done the things that they know is their life's mission or their soul work or whatever you want to. They've just not stepped into that space. So that's the extreme end. Then you have a group of people who aren't that bad, but they're getting that way. And those group, I call that they're the frauds. That they often feel a fraud. They're pretending they're doing all the things and but they know deep down they're actually not taking the action that they need to do. And they're doing a good talk. Oh yes, I'm doing this and I'm writing this and I'm getting on with this. But actually they're not. They're not doing it at the speed they should do it, or not doing it. They're talking a good talk, but they're not actually doing it. And they're starting to feel a fraud. They've not been destroyed, but they're starting to feel a fake. And their self-esteem is starting to drop and starting to get uncomfortable. Then you have the people that often don't even know that they're procrastinating. And they are the busy people. So they're the people you email them and they get back to you straight away, and they're doing all these different things. And they're doing absolutely everything except the stuff that really matters. So they're super busy and we think, oh, they're busy, they're doing all this, but they're actually not doing the stuff. And they get into other people's dramas and they do all this, they help other people and they're generous and they're kind, but they're actually not doing the stuff. They're distracting themselves by being busy or serving other people, but they're not stepping into their greatness, their big thing. So and those busy people can then start to feel a fraud, and they then could be destroyed. Or people can go up and down between these 3 layers. So it's pretty destructive and it's pretty painful for people, particularly if they're people like that you and I work with that often have something that they're trying to do that is, like say, their soul's work or their life's work. So it's a pretty big.
Interesting. Because in a way, there's a small proportion of procrastination that we actually need, because we kind of need to think about what we're doing. And then at the same time, there's so many varieties of procrastination that we really don't need, and that we need start recognizing within ourselves, basically.
Yeah. So I could, excuse me, I could have probably procrastinated for about 6 months on this training. That would have been good. That probably would have been the sweet spot. 6 months to a year, really listening and studying and understanding it and think. I probably didn't need 5 or 6 years or 8, whatever. But it does make me an expert at how you stop it, because I'm actually quite productive. The training we talk about being an enlightened procrastinator, really understanding what's going on. So I'm actually quite productive. I do a lot of things, but I know deep down I don't always do the biggest things I could do.
I'm sometimes the opposite. I sometimes do before I think. So I'm really like, I want to get this done like right now. So I'm going to do it. And I'm super like, I'm so strict for myself and I cannot do anything else before I get this done. And sometimes it's like, okay, you need to loosen up. You need to think first. So sometimes it can be that I can be a bit more of a procrastinator.
Yeah. And it's about being enlightened in that place of knowing when you need to pause and actually knowing that you need to move forward and feeling okay about moving forward and taking action, etc.
Yeah. And is this program, is that for the ones who didn't watch the previous interview, is this program also related to the vitality test? And just short, Nicolas has a test, the vitality test. You can find this on the 5institute.com. And this test indicates the 5 Chinese energies. So if I say it right, earth, fire, water, wood, and metal.
Fantastic, yeah.
Yes. And are these energies related as well to this procrastination membership program?
Yeah, because see what happens with procrastination is there can be 1,001 reasons as to why we're not taking action. Are we scared about the future? Are we scared about what people think about us? Is there some belief system? Is it because we don't know how to do? So there can be so many different reasons why we don't do it. And the chances of finding all those reasons is really hard. It's like looking for a needle in a haystack, but you've not got to find one needle. You've got to find 5 or 6 or 7. So we often refer to it, it's a bit like having 5 nails in your shoe and you can't walk. So you say, okay, I found 3 nails. And you take those out. You still can't walk because you've still got 2 left. And eventually you might get all 5 reasons as to why you're procrastinating, but perhaps you're so damaged by that stage, you still don't take action. So it's why it's such a hard one to tackle, because you've got to try and hit every single reason as to why you're not taking action. Yeah. So what we do is we approach it from two different directions. The first one is, the reality is, and this is, I know you're not the biggest procrastinator and you're also highly talented, so you're an exception, but often you'll find that the biggest, deepest procrastinators are actually some of the most gifted and talented and creative and imaginative and sensitive people we have out there. And they are highly sensitive. Like I said, they're highly sensitive, they're highly imaginative, they're highly creative. And in a way, that's why they're procrastinating, because they're super sensitive to everything. Yeah. So if they have a fear, the fear may be here, but at a certain level, but they feel it really big. So what they're afraid of is probably no more than anybody else. They just feel it more, or they imagine it more, or they create stuff around it more.
Yeah.
So what
would it be like perfectionism? It's kind of perfectionism.
Yeah, that could be an example of why people procrastinate. Actually, I can never get anything finished because there's a part of me that feels so uncomfortable that it might not be good enough, and I've got to keep going. And because procrastinators can be very busy, they just don't get it finished. Yeah. So it could be they're super sensitive to perfection. Whereas other people go, oh, I don't bother about perfection. Their level of sensitivity is so much lower. So the first thing we have to do is, and this is why I love Mindful Magazine, I love your program, I love the stuff that you do, because the first thing you've got to do with procrastinators is you've got to lower down their sensitivity to all their worries and their fears and because if you can lower down their sensitivity to it and make them feel calmer and more relaxed, then they can have these things that they worry about, but it doesn't bother them enough to stop them. Do you see what I mean? So you just, so you might do stuff with procrastinators. You don't even try and find what it is that they're worried about. You just lower their sensitivity to worry.
So you kind of understand where they are coming from, their understanding of why are they procrastinating. And also, do you think that some procrastinators became a procrastinator because of their past, maybe, or maybe some family patterns or something like this?
Yeah, it can be from a number of different directions. What it could be is you have some past issue or some challenge, that a belief system, or you had an experience or something that has made you super sensitive, say, to criticism or something like that. And so therefore you don't want to take action because you feel you might be criticized or not loved or appreciated, whatever. So you have a super sensitivity to that. And rather than deal with what it is that you're feeling, just get used to sitting. Because one of the things we do is we train people to get used to sitting with an uncomfortable emotion. Because procrastinators, their problem is they can't sit with an uncomfortable emotion. They have to find a distraction. They go and eat some food, or they watch some television, or they go on social media to distract themselves from the uncomfortable emotion. So the first thing you have to do is train people to be able to sit with an uncomfortable emotion. You see what I mean? So they can get used to be sitting with the feeling that they might not be liked as much as they would like to be. Or they might sitting with an uncomfortable feeling that this might be not as perfect as they would like it to be. So we train them to sit with an uncomfortable feeling. And there's lots of ways to train, you know, all the stuff you do is training people to deal with and feel stronger inside. So we teach people that, and that helps for them to deal with anything that might be coming from the past. But sometimes it's not just the past. It might be, like I say, in the here and the now, you can't deal with these uncomfortable feelings. Or it might be, and this is a really, really big one, that you're actually scared of something in the future. And sometimes your procrastination doesn't appear until you start to try and do the big thing that you're trying to do in life. So it's almost like a cosmic joke. The only thing you're really procrastinating about is the one thing that actually matters.
So it's probably the lesson that you need to learn. That is where you need to focus on when procrastinating.
It could be that that's a lesson you've got to learn, or it could be that this is the big thing that you want to actually do one of the big things you want to do in your life, and therefore it's scary or it's more worrying on you, and you feel these emotions and you go, oh, I can't deal with this, and you go and distract yourself. So first of all, get used to sitting with these emotions and these feelings and looking at things, and bring down that level so you can start to do that. And then what we do is we use the Chinese energies to give us clues as to what might be these things that are causing problems. So a water energy type, they might be worried that they won't be safe in the future, or they won't have enough resources. Or what happens if I don't feel I can cope, or I get too tired, or I'm doing this thing and it gets overwhelming and I become exhausted, or I'm just scared. They just get scared about resources and safety and stuff like that. Whereas a wood energy type, they would think often in terms of their future, they'd often think, oh God, what happens if I do this thing and it's so brilliant and it's so fantastic? I get trapped and I'm suddenly in this whole world I didn't want to be in, and it's all, and I'm stuck. I'm so brilliant, and I'm always having to do these things. Oh God, that sounds terrible.
Yeah.
And with those, just say to them, well, you're in charge of designing your life, so why not design a life you want, and then you get trapped in a thing that's heaven. You know what I mean? Whereas fire energy types, their big worry is they say, oh, God, what if I'm doing this thing and people don't like it, or they don't like me, or I'm not good enough, or they realize I don't know enough, or they don't like, oh, whatever, oh, I can't cope with that. I'm going to go and eat some food, or I'm going to go and watch some television, or I'm going to go on social media and find out who likes me.
Yeah, well, this happened a lot during my studies. There were a lot of things that I rather did than actually studying and opening my book. So definitely we're sometimes procrastinating.
Yeah. Whereas earth energy types, their big thing is they procrastinate if they don't know how to do something. They start going, oh, how do I do this? I don't understand it. Oh, this is all too, I don't understand all the parts. So they then go away and eat some food, watch some social media or whatever, because they don't feel confident that they know how to do something. And earth energy types, they're not great at asking anybody.
Yeah.
So they don't ask for help, and they worry that they can't do it, or it all starts to get too big. And therefore, that's often why they're procrastinating. And then metal energy types, they're the perfectionists. They're often, it has to be more perfect, or they'll sometimes have a bit going on of, what happens if I do this and I lose something else? What happens if I'm become more successful and I lose the people around me because they don't fit anymore? So they often have this worry about loss or perfection or something like that. So we'll use the energies for people to tune in to what might be the thing that's tipping them. And at the same time, each energy finds a way to relax and deal with their emotions. And we teach people, so you lower the emotional state, and then you find the little things that might be causing your problems. And then you start to move forward and start to do things. So it's a very different approach.
I think it's really fantastic. It's a really great approach. And also, it's what I hear from all the different types. It's almost like everyone is overwhelmed in a way. There's so many things going through their minds, and it's actually going down, analyzing where do these feelings come from, and then you need to filter in a way. Okay, this is where I'm going to focus on first, and where do I get where I want to be.
Yeah, exactly. Because, some people procrastinate by constantly thinking about what they're feeling. That's their form of procrastination. But if you analyze it, you're strict, you lower things down, and then we do various things to get people to kind of move forward and take the. So it's a really, really well thought out approach that's it's very, very personalized to the individual. And it's worth saying probably why we're doing this. I think there are kind of three main reasons why we're doing this. The first one is procrastination. I know people would joke about it, but actually it's really painful and it's really distressing for the people that are experienced, particularly if they're destroyed or feeling a fraud, or their self-esteem is starting to go down, or they're not doing the thing. So it's a really painful area for people. So we felt that was where, for people's pain. The second reason we're doing it is we're actually good at it. We've got a lot to offer. It's different. We don't do accountability buddies and punishing and lists. It's actually really fun. We do it in a really fun way. So it's very painful, and we're good at sorting it out. And then probably the biggest reason that we're doing it is, like I said, these procrastinators, these professional procrastinators, have an incredible gift and incredible talent. Are some of the most talented people we have. And just imagine if we could get 10% of those people in the game doing what they should do. Not only do we get rid of lots of people's pain, but actually we start to change the world more. Because we have 10%, if we've got 10% of the most talented people in the game, that's a big result, isn't it?
Wow, that's incredible.
If we've got 20% or 25% or half these procrastinators, if we got them in the game, either dealing with problems that they have around them locally or whatever, or world problems, that would change the world.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it? It would utterly change the world. And we need these people. So if you're a procrastinator out there, we need you. We need you fully engaged, and as well, you know, it kind of gets rid of your suffering as well. So that's kind of why we're doing it. That's our big purpose. It's painful, we're good at it, and, you know, big world mission here. We need you. We need you.
Yeah, you hear it. So come and sign up. So how do you reach your audience, and how can people sign up for this this program?
Yeah, it's a monthly membership, and what we do is we do these quests, and we do the procrastination quest. We're doing it over 50 days. We've also designed it that if you've missed the start, that doesn't matter. Everything's recorded. If you're listening to this in years, it still will work for you. And what we do is we do every 2 weeks, we do a masterclass. We teach some content, then you go away and practice some stuff. In between, we give you different tips and different stuff to do it. And this is quite shocking, this bit. And I was told by someone that I was mad doing this. That this Vital Life is $23 for the month. So if it's a 50-day quest, you've probably got two months. So that's what, 46 or so dollars. And the reason people said they were mad, we were mad, is, oh, if these procrastinators, unless you charge them lots and lots of money, they'll never do anything. They won't take action. Charge them low. They've seen this content we've got. They said, this is stunning content with nothing about it. Charge them loads of money, and then they'll take action. And for me, that shows, these people, that shows that they are not proper procrastinators. Because proper procrastinators will buy a program for $1,500 and not do it. Yeah. And they'll buy a program for $200 or $300 and not do it. And actually, the program, if it's really, really expensive and they're not doing it, they can't even go there because they've spent all this money, and the program itself becomes
too scary, maybe.
It's too scary. Yeah. Oh God. And what happens the other? So we've talked about this before. This Vital Life, our monthly membership, is low. It's designed to help lots and lots of people, and it's against the standard thing that you should do for procrastinate. Charge them loads of money, they'll do it. They don't understand procrastinators. They buy expensive programs and they don't do them. Money is not the issue. The issue is their emotional state or one of these nails. So it's crazy money. It's crazy money. But then we do things a bit differently, don't we?
Well, on the other hand, it will be approachable for basically everyone. So you can cover every single layers in society, because procrastinators can vary from every sort of like different sort of people. So we kind of need to help everyone out there. And you know, from your program, I mean, someone who thinks have so little to offer can in a year time grow so much that they have a lot to offer, because they discover something within themselves that they haven't seen yet.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, you've hit the nail on the head. That's exactly our approach at the 5 Institute. It's why the Vitality Test is free. It's why these programs are all low cost. It's because we want to have anybody that wants to, anyone that's struggling or is in pain and wants to kind of move on from it. We don't want to have it blocked by anything. We want those people to be doing what they're doing, or happy. So the quest we ran all about relationships. Again, we ran 60 days on, and people love that. It was changing. It was saving marriages. It was changing people's relationship with their kids, changing their relationship with themselves. And that, again, it was $23, because we don't want marriages to split up. We don't want kids to have to go and live with one parent. We don't want people to go through horrible divorces. Their marriage can be, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a lot of suffering out there.
No, but I think it's wonderful, you know, because in the end, you really truly are a kindness ambassador, and you really want to help everyone out there. So that's why I love to do this interview with you, because you know so much about several subjects. You go to business organizations, you go to all sorts of structures, and you try to combine your knowledge of being a teacher in Chinese energetics and your business knowledge, and it's kind of mindfulness as well, and psychology.
Oh yeah, and
Really
that's why I love talking with you, because I think when I spoke to you last, I just come back from the United Nations, hadn't I?
Yes, yes. Wow, that's so amazing.
That was fun. But you know, you do this stuff. The guests you bring on and the content you share. I mean, I look at a lot of your stuff because I love it. And it's got some great, really practical, useful stuff for getting people, and you give all of that away.
Yes. Yes.
It's, you know, but we will, whether it's somewhere else, we will get our rewards at some point. We're fine.
It's always what we give, we get back, right? That's how we approach it.
Yeah. It will all spin itself around. It will be
yes, fine. And at least we have a good karma.
Yeah. We have. I think we have reasonable karma. I think that's good. I just believe. It's the same when we've had this conversation before. It's about us doing what we love to do.
Yes.
And I love to analyze the world's big problems and come up with different ways of looking at it.
Yes.
I love solving problems, and the bigger the problem, the more. And if I can't work out how to do it, I will keep going until I can. Which is why I've spent 5-6 years looking at procrastination, because I've looked at everything that's been done, and if it worked, we wouldn't have all these procrastinators.
Yeah. And the thing is, you're actually providing people with solutions. And that's, I mean, you can read about, okay, what is procrastination? And you also need to discover about yourself. Am I a procrastinator? Because I'm sure a lot of people are not even that aware.
No, I'm just very busy doing all these things. Yeah. But what are you?
Yeah.
And also I think we're in a tough age. I think with social media and stuff that's going on, it's easier to procrastinate on things that weren't there. And there's lots of unknowns, there's lots of stress. Our diet isn't as good, so we feel there's a whole lot of stuff. We're not as good mental shape as we used to be in terms of our robustness because of our diet.
So many incenses coming in all the time.
Too much, yeah. That's why I love your work. Just mindful, bringing down your emotional state, getting yourself calmer to be able to deal with all these different things.
But it's a lot of times it's everything is quite simple. It's just the dedication that you need to actually execute all the things. So maybe I'm suggesting in my blog a few steps, but then it's up to the person if they actually want to execute these steps. So that's where you come in with procrastination, to tell people, like, if you want to get here, if you want to achieve this goal, you need to follow all the steps, and you have to be patient, but at the same time you have to take action. And what I also think is really funny, it's when you start discovering how you can combine your talents. Because, for example, you combine the energies with your company and your expertise, and you made it in like one amazing program. And then even for me, I started working as an SEO specialist, which means I'm doing a lot of on WordPress and computers, and also I'm super into mindfulness and spirituality. And it's just getting all the things together and put them in in something you love, actually, because there's always a solution when you think about it.
Yeah, yeah, and it is, you're right, it's the combination of how things are put together, taking things that wouldn't normally fit together and creating something new.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they go to your website, and where can they sign up for this?
Yeah, if they go to 5institute.com /TVL, TVL, which stands for This Vital Life. So 5institute.com /TVL, and that will take them to This Vital Life. And there's a page there about the procrastination, the membership, etc. And if people don't like it, then, you know, we do refunds. It's not we don't want people say, oh, then, you know, that's, so it's risk free. All you're risking is losing your procrastination, but that might not be a bad thing.
Yeah. You might procrastinate and ask for a refund as well, but
yeah, that's fine. Because we haven't helped them.
So yeah, thank you so much. And for everyone out there, please take a look at the website, do the test. I did it myself. It's very, very effective. I saw sides of myself that I haven't seen before, so really take a look at it. Look at the program, and I'm sure you have so many more things coming up. I don't doubt it. And for all the viewers watching my channel, if you like my videos, please subscribe, press on the subscribe button, or give the video a like. And just at last, do you have 3 tips for the viewers on how to prevent procrastination?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first 2 are about getting you better at dealing with your emotions. Okay. The first one is you have to get enough sleep. You have to get enough rest and sleep. Think about kids when they get tired. They can't deal with emotions. So you've got to get enough sleep. The second one is you've got to practice sitting with your emotions. So you might get used to doing some meditation or some mindfulness or something, but get used to being in a place where you feel your emotions. Sometimes just saying, okay, I'm feeling sad, that's fine, or I'm feeling worried, that's fine. So get used to those emotions. So lots of rest and get used to feeling your emotions. And if you want tips to do that, then we just need to go on your website, etc. It's full of things of teaching people to be mindful. So lots of rest, feel mindful. And then the third one, and this is the one that I love, and this is often for the actual procrastination. If you've seen a film, okay, you see the director, and the director goes 3, 2, 1, and action.
Yeah.
Okay. That's that ball that goes. Yeah. So if you're about to think, okay, I'm going to do this, then you just go 3, 2, 1, and action, and you will suddenly start doing it. Because doing 3, 2, 1, and action, it doesn't have enough time for your brain to go, oh. So, and all of a sudden you're up and you're doing it, and you go 3, 2, 1, and action, and you're in it.
Yeah.
So that's a cheat, but it works. I know people that just use that, and that is enough to get rid of that. So 3, 2, 1, and action, and I'm in it. But if you can do the emotional training, then you deal with stuff so much better anyway.
Wow. And in a way, if we don't try, I mean, we're gonna regret it later. And at the same time, what do we have to lose? Okay, your work is crap. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. And if you are, and we go back to the kindness, if you're actually kind to yourself about it, the only person that gives you a hard time about your crap work is actually you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yourself.
Yeah.
And who gets to decide that? You do. So don't beat yourself up. Don't be kind to yourself, and it will be, you have a much nicer life.
Exactly.
Forget about people concentrate on being kind to other people, but that isn't the issue. The issue is be kind to yourself. That's where the world's problems start from, not from a lack of external kindness. It's internal kindness. That's the issue.
We're too hard. Everyone's too hard on themselves. It's time to embrace your talents and actually love yourself for everything you do and be kind.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, it's been very kind of you to have me on here, the show again.
Yeah, it was really wonderful. Thank you so much for coming.
My pleasure.
And I'm sure, I really hope everyone's inspired by your amazing program. And the 5 Institute, I think it's one of the best organizations, and it's an approachable organization for everyone out there. So if you really want to change your attitude in life, you really want to start loving yourself, I really recommend you to sign up. So thank you so much, and I wish you a wonderful day.
Thank you, and you, Michelle. Thank you so much again. Bye for now.